Right guys, I got to deal with the LBC tosspot known as Iain Dale. This tit sat on his programme loving the fear porn like he works for the BBC, while naturally talking a lot of shit and getting rather salty at a Tory MP who said she won't be wearing a face nappy after July 19th. Not only did he get salty on the show, but this prat decided to attack her on Twitter after the fact, which got Labour supporters liking it and most decent people calling him out for being a bit of a tit. Now, some have said he shouldn't shit-talk an MP by calling her stupid. This is obviously bollocks. Everyone is fair game for ridicule in my mind. Being an MP means you're paid to accept that shit that comes with public life, including being called stupid. Plus, as you all know, I shit-talk absolutely everyone, so me telling people not to do it would be on par with the hypocrisy this government has shown over the past year or so. Also, let's never forget that words don't hurt you and they never will. Your feelings are irrelevant and I'm not a known giver of fucks, let me tell you that. Like many of you, I was brought up in the days of sticks and stones when soy lattes and shit like that didn't even exist as far as I'm aware. Something obviously Iain Dale has been drinking far too many of, I think you would all agree. Anyway, I guess Iain Dale don't really like MPs saying that they will take responsibility for their own safety because he knows the people listening to them will do the same, or for the most part anyway. Obviously, the bedwetters like himself will scream and shout from behind the sofa telling everyone to get back home and watch the latest fear porn pumped out by the BBC. In fact, enough of me talking shit, let's see what he actually said in the clip itself.
And actually, have we assessed the risks of wearing face masks constantly, especially to our children?
Sorry, are we really going to have that argument again, which we had last March and April? That seems a bit of a ridiculous point to make when the scientific consensus now... Well, there is a scientific consensus that they prevent...
Said that we'd be at 3 times the number of infections, deaths and hospitalisations than we were 2 weeks ago when the government decided to impose restrictions.
That wasn't a scientific consensus, that was one report.
Has been correct. Well, as I said, show me the peer-reviewed study, and where is the study that shows why we wouldn't want to continue wearing face masks? But look, I completely agree with the Prime Minister. This has to be now about personal attitude to risk, and if people want to continue to wear face masks, and I think they will, on public transport, crowded public transport, then that is their decision. No, I won't be.
You won't? How irresponsible can you get then?
Well, I think freedom is very important. I think showing our faces is part of being human. Well, I don't think that would have been an unreasonable.
You are supposed to be. You are supposed to be a leader of public opinion, and you're telling me that you won't wear a face mask because people want to see your face. Seriously?
Well, I'm not sure they desperately want to see my face, but what my point is, 2 years ago, would we have told people that they were dangerous and irresponsible for not wearing a mask during flu season? No, we wouldn't. So where's the consensus for this? We need to arrive at the consensus for this, if that is the case, but there isn't the consensus there at the moment. This is a decision that was made in the middle of a pandemic, and now we're coming out of it.
Well guys, what can you say to that? How much of a bedwetter do you really need to be? This I find even funnier when you think about the amount of times this guy has promoted listening to the government when it comes to the things that they have done. Now it's something he doesn't like. Anyone supporting the idea is an idiot, and seeing MPs from the Conservative Party go against him has clearly got him really salty. In fact, you could actually see the rage building as she told people to enjoy their lives and show their faces. Obviously, this Tory MP, Miriam Cates, could have done a lot better, but her saying show me peer-reviewed papers to prove what you were saying swiftly shut him down, and literally forced him to take a different attack route as you see. It was also good of her to call out the scientists leading this shit show that they have got it wrong every single time, and used out-of-date, dodgy data to push their restrictions upon us. This is something obviously the media themselves have reported on a couple of times now. What was it, November, and then last month when they did it again? But I do love how he calls that not a scientific consensus, but his claims about masks were apparently a scientific consensus, when we all know that's not true. All I could find to back up what he said was a few lab studies. Shit, even Sky News said real-world ones are hard to come by. But also I should point out very rarely is there ever a scientific consensus on anything as far as I'm aware. Now, I do have to point out that this low-life tosspot's venom, when she goes against the narrative he is pushing, is like the Ramonas in 2019. You know, when they're talking to a Brexiteer who's shutting down their bullshit constantly. The salt flowing out of him as he legally loses the mandatory mask rule narrative is on par with the Remainers, I think you would agree. And I expect that salt there is partly to do with the fact that every mainstream media outlet has profited massively from the fear porn, which is now losing relevance to most people. I expect arseholes in media companies are puckered up tighter than a snare drum in fear of the day all the money stops flowing into them for promoting the government's agenda. After 470 days of 14 days to flatten the curve, media bosses might be worried one day soon this cash cow would have been milked dry. Personally, to me, it could explain some of the salt coming out of Iain Dale here I don't know about you guys. Now, as always, remember links are down below for you to check out if you have not already. I'll also be sticking them as a pinned comment going forward, since viewers often say they cannot see the links in the description. Remember to like, share and subscribe if you want to, but until the next time, I'm fucking off.
Well,